I'm Priya.
And I'm Hansika.
And this is Ready to Grow.
We're a mother-daughter duo
On a mission to spotlight women shaping the future of STEM, leadership, and entrepreneurship.
one conversation at a time. Now,
Let's get ready to grow.
welcome back to Ready to Grow, where we amplify women's voices in STEM, leadership, and entrepreneurship. First off, I want to thank our listeners for spending time with us today, and we want to welcome a very special guest, Dara Meath. Dara is a global technology leader and the Chief Technology Officer of Build-A-Bear Workshop.
Dara is a well-known leader globally, and many people already know about her work. For those who may not fully know the impact she has made, I wanted to share a little bit about Dara's journey. As a CTO, she leads major technology initiatives for a well-known consumer brand, Build-A-Bear, helping teams navigate change and build better experiences for customers. She also serves as a board advisor to several organizations, and she is a founding member of World Leaders in Data and AI Community, and she is the founder of Destiny in the Sky. She is deeply committed to mentorship and community, and she is also a mother of two beautiful daughters. What defines Dara is how she leads with intention and humanity. Today, we are talking about the moments that shaped her leadership, how she defines success today, and the kind of future that she hopes to build for the next generation.
Dara, we are so excited to have you with us today. Welcome to Ready to Grow.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. What a pleasure it is to be here with both of you. And we're very, very excited to be here together.
Thank you so much for bringing the bear as well to our podcast. We really appreciate it.
Oh, we never go anywhere without each other, right?
I'm pretty sure both our listeners and honestly, Hansika and I are very excited to dive into your leadership. You have led major technology and business transformations where decisions carry real weight. Can you share a moment when you have made a decision that fundamentally changed how you think about leadership in today's world?
Yeah, and thank you so much for asking that. Such a great question. You know, the evolution of technology has been so important within businesses, and we've seen so much change over the last year, 5 years, 10 years, and so on. And that change hasn't come from just the technology that we utilize, that tech stack, but it's also came from those that are using it, right, and understanding it from a business perspective, and then those that are building against it. And so I've had throughout my long career, we won't say how many years exactly that is, but let's just say my long career is that, you know, I've learned how to grow and pivot and understand those use cases and really trust those that are building against it and their expertise. But leadership has challenged, right? Right now, I think is probably the most exciting time, but also the most challenging is to make sure that as that technology advances to the point where legacy architecture is no longer fitting that circle into a square, we have to figure out what we're going to do to ensure that those legacy architectures are brought up and so that we're constantly flowing into the right flow. And there's challenges with that. There's challenges with education and developing those that we lead to make sure that they understand and can pivot with you. There's challenges to make sure that the business puts the right investment into it and that they feel confident that they're not losing from that old technology, that the new technology will make them feel really good and empowered and really streamline their practices. And then there's challenges of making sure that we're securing it the right way and that they fit together in the right sequence and that we can build for what can be then another 10-year journey against this technology. AI is probably one of the biggest decisions around that. And I think we've all had to sit down and take a good face about what does that mean? How do we ensure people feel confident and comfortable and that they're not feeling like as a leader, we're trying to push them out, but we're trying to bring them in and help embrace that further. So I think that there's a lot of different nuances that I've gone through, right? It's from moments where we've had to change and emergencies to moments that everything's worked together and we're celebrating. And I think each one defines who we are as leaders and makes us stronger and better for the future.
Wow, that's so powerful, Dara. I mean, I can see how intentional your leadership is. It's more about, being responsible, especially in this new world where we are building these AI systems and the clients or the organizations who are using those AI systems, we all have to be very intentional about it. And thank you so much for sharing your perspective and responsibility beyond the outcomes and results. So, and one thing I really wanted to tell you, Dara, the first time when I heard you speak in person was at the Wilda event, and two words immediately stood out to me: confidence and strength. That feeling has always stayed with me.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you so much. I
And I'm
appreciate
sure
that.
that's, thank you. And that is something I believe Hansika is really curious to learn from you as well, especially in this stage where she is in.
Yeah, when I hear that, it makes me feel how confidence is really developed. It doesn't just come to you one day. It's like whenever people see a leader at your level, they assume that confidence comes so easily, but obviously we can see how it develops over time. So, was there ever a time earlier in your career when you questioned yourself or your place in the room, and how did you overcome that anyway?
Yeah, it's a great question. Wow, you guys have great questions today. I think you still question yourself today, just not necessarily about sitting at the table, but just some of the actions or some of the intentions that you have to go out and do. But yeah, there's plenty of times in my career where, when I started my career, I literally worked in a mailroom growing up, right? I slept underneath my desk for many, many, many nights as I was growing my career. Listen, I think one of the biggest parts about being confident is being able to understand, learn, and listen. And I wouldn't say I understand everything in the room. I love that the fact that sometimes I sit in my executive meetings, or sometimes when I sit in the user meetings, or even sometimes when I sit with my family, I don't know it all. And I love the fact that I can sit there and I can understand and I can listen and learn. And if I don't get it right the first time, that's okay, because I'll go back, I'll take that moment and figure out, like, what could I have spun? What could I have changed? Okay, now let's go back and learn from that and rebuild on that. So it's an exercise of really being able to rebuild yourself and understand, and surrounding yourself with those that have the right partnerships and understanding and help you to build yourself in that confidence level. Throughout my career, I didn't have as many mentors as I had always hoped for. I think it was just a little different as a female leader growing up in the industry. But I surrounded myself with those that I really felt empowered by and entrusted. And I feel like that helps me to keep growing myself. And Wilda is one of the best locations for that. We have this women leadership organization. Right. We empower each other. We help to build each other and our strengths. And when you can surround yourself with that community, it naturally makes you feel more confident and more empowered. And then I would say the other thing is just don't lose sight of yourself, and like if you know, bring that knowledge forward. Always feel like if you really do know what you're saying, which we all do, right? When we're getting there, then don't shy out from that. Be a force in the room, be heard, right? Because it is important to share that and keep learning, right? Don't ever stop, because confidence comes with your education and your development. I still program today. And like the more I do that, the more confident I feel on the other side of things.
Yeah, I really like that you shared how everything builds up. And I really like how you said that confidence comes through education, because as I learn something new every day, I can tell that my confidence is building from it as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's so important, guys. It's so important. So, and that learning is like your own self-education. It's just read a new book, get a new podcast like this. This is a perfect one, right? So keep enjoying that.
Absolutely. And you also talked about learning and practicing as well, right? We as leaders, sometimes we think, hey, I don't have to code. I don't have to code, or I don't have to build a model. But when you know the technicality, that gives you confidence. And when your team sees that if Dara can do it, if Dara can code, I can do it too. That is also living by example and giving them confidence that they can do it too. Thank you for sharing that perspective. So now let's rewind it a little bit. Before the titles and all the executive roles, what initially drew you to technology and problem solving, and how that curiosity that you talked about has evolved as your responsibilities shifted and those responsibilities grew throughout these years?
So when I was growing through, the younger days, technology was not at the pivotal forefront of like what I was thinking about for myself. I was going to school for anthropology, which, if you don't know, is really a whole different discovery. I thought Indiana Jones and I would be hanging out, right? And I'd be doing something completely different. And I do think it was the evolution of things like anthropology and archaeology and stuff, that there's an evolution, there's a buildup of how it started and then where it landed to, that really helped me to structure myself into this organization or this type of business. And I think, believe it or not, technology kind of started that same way, in the way that we grew that technology. For every moment in time, there's another moment in time that comes on top of it and on top of it. And that's really how the technology's evolved. So it's been exciting for me. I think when I look at technology, there's a problem component to it that really drew me in. I started off in, like I said, the mailroom, and I really became fascinated with data and how data was working and how it was operating. And as I started to think about where data was taking me, it naturally started to take me over into, well, data comes with all kinds of objects and solutions, and how does that make sense? And then I started to get into the education side. But then if I know it, I could retrain people on it. Oh, and then I could go write some books about it. Oh, wait, and then I could keep building on it. And it's like this whole thing just kept accumulating and accumulating until at one point when I decided that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make this something that is really a pathway for me. And luckily, growing up, I'd started in a company called Prudential Insurance. And if you're familiar with it, it's a very large organization. They gave you an opportunity to start your pathway somewhere in the organization and then traditionally start to walk yourself through. And by the time I was done, technology was part of my DNA. I'd gone back for all kinds of technology courses and different things that I wanted to do. And it became really natural to me. And the problem solving, I think, became really natural. Being able to watch something occur and then be able to solve it and then streamline it and fix it for the future. Wow. It just the small wins led to big wins. It led to so much for the future. So that's how I really kind of became that. It was kind of that pathway, and working with big companies that give you those opportunities to let you figure out who you want to be. And don't shy away from starting somewhere like a mailroom or an admin position or something smaller, because you always have the opportunity to learn, listen, and grow.
I love that, Dara, how you shared, and especially talking about the technology. And as a CTO, your landscape has changed drastically in the last 4 or 5 years since generative AI came in. And the fundamentals that you talked about, problem solving using technology, that stays the same, right? So it's all about identifying business problem and using technology to solve that problem. Thank you so much for sharing that. And also, you talked about curiosity, right? How in reality, it doesn't go away as you evolve, right? It comes in a different form. Every time you're trying something new, your curiosity is there, and it builds you with more confidence as you try it more.
Yeah, I mean, don't lose sight of curiosity, right? Because when you lose sight of, or when you don't have that curiosity, you lose your passion. And passion to me is the most important thing in business. If you're not passionate about what you do, you're probably not giving 110%. And that means that it's really not the right thing for you. So when you're constantly curious, you're constantly passionate, you're learning and you're growing, you're like, oh, I'm curious. And it's a cycle that keeps going. And wow, when you have that every day of your life, even on the hardest days, you still feel like you can get up, stand up, and go, let's go together.
Yeah, honestly, I thought it was really cool how your curiosity has shifted between the years. You started off doing anthropology and archaeology. I thought that's really cool because seeing someone who's in the role of a CTO, you don't really think that they've had like a different background sometimes. And even when I was thinking about that, I used to also want to be an archaeologist. I wanted to be somebody who was in Jurassic World digging up dinosaur bones.
That's awesome. I love it. It's so much fun. I mean, I think the sky's the limit. I think when you get out of school and when you're young, you have one passion of life, right? Everybody thinks that they're going to be something, magical and beautiful. And I think it's great. And then as you start to go through life, you're like, well, where am I really seeing myself? What does it really mean? And not everybody sees themselves in business. It's not, sometimes it's hard to grow through that structure, but I learned a lot of foundations by doing it. I learned a lot of hard work and grit, and really determination gets you to where you need to be in life. And so I would say, don't give up, just keep fighting through that and find yourself through it. Like, one of the best things I ever did was I went out and I did some stuff for myself. Like, I would go out and travel by myself, right? For these business trips. And I learned about me, like what was I happy about? What was I doing, right? Was business really, driving me? And it was a driving force for me. And I think that it helped me to, land where I am today, and continues to help me feel very comfortable for my future.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that part of your journey and your story, Dara. That is very wonderful.
Yeah, I think when I was younger as well, I don't think I always knew I wanted to go into business, but me and my mom were talking about it, how when I was in elementary school, I had my own slime business.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
awesome.
like maybe I did know the whole time that I wanted to be in business, even though I was like, my brain was like, oh, archaeologist, like fashion designer,
Yeah.
everything like that.
You know what? You're an entrepreneur by heart. I think that's fantastic. I know, everybody always asks me, oh, do your girls want to go into the same trade? I'm like, no.
No.
But they're going to follow their own passions. They're going to see what I'm doing. They're curious about it, right? We always have great conversations around it, but everybody finds their pathway and then eventually pivots and changes that pathway and pivots and changes that pathway. And that's what really determines you later on. I mean, if I hadn't gone through every experience I did, for every high, every low, every hard day, every great day, I would never end up where I am today, because it all defines you.
Whenever I look at my mom, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want to go into data. But then you come and see my sister, and she's like, oh, yeah, I want to be an AI person. I want to be a robotics person. So I guess even though my mom is into data, one of us is like, oh, yes, I want to do that. The other one's just like the opposite.
The
And,
opposite.
and that is the beauty about it, right? They are curious about what they are passionate about,
Yeah.
and they can go in their own path and still be successful.
100%. And, no matter what you do today, technology is a part of that, right? So you hold a phone all the time. You're on iPads, you're on computers, right? It's like technology is still embedded. So the more you learn about it, the more successful you'll be, right? And so you'll naturally still have that as part of your day to day. And hopefully you'll do it with that responsibility that we all want to do, right? And take it the right way. And how's that slime business doing? Are you all done with it now?
Yeah, that was in fifth grade. It's been gone for a little bit, but I made some money out of it. All my classmates would come to me and my friend. We both would sell slimes every year during recess. We'd go and sell our slimes. So
I
yeah.
love it. That's fantastic. That's probably messy for mom, but fantastic for
Oh
you.
yeah. Yeah, I think slime got banned in our home after some time because we made quite a bit of a mess. But yeah.
I could totally see that. I will say bears don't get banned anywhere, so don't. That's why the bear business is good. We don't get banned anywhere.
Oh yeah, we have lots of bears in our house. I can tell you that. We have a giant one, maybe the size of me. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. It's fantastic. Great.
So leadership can feel very intimidating, especially when you're starting out earlier in your career. What qualities or habits do you think matter most long before experiences, titles, or promotions come into play?
I think for me, look, titles are great now that, I'm able to get through it. And I always thought that that was such an important thing when I was getting through my career. But I really believe respect is probably the number one thing that I really look for. I want people to understand and respect me as I want to respect others. And I believe that hard work and understanding and dedication to it really gets you the respect. Without respect, I wouldn't want anybody to work for me, right? Because if they can't respect what I'm doing with them, or where our vision's going, or where the business is looking towards, or how we're trying to build their own success, then we really don't have the right connection. And there's really not a future with that together. So I really believe that it's really the honesty, the reflection, people understanding our journey together. How I can benefit others is one of the most important things. As a leader, one of the tough decisions you have to make is helping someone else get to their next level of career, or helping them with their own pathway. And that's challenging, because when the pathway works, you can see wins and success. And when the pathway is one where someone's unknowing, or they're not sure, they're kind of stuck, then you have challenges about how you can successfully help them to get to that next piece. And so you have to make tough decisions at times, right? That comes with the economy, the business, the person's career path, their education and knowledge about what they're working in, and how you're trying to serve them. And that's all very challenging for us as leaders. And I think together, with the right respect, we can formulate the right relationships, and everyone on the other side of it comes out with what they're looking towards and growing. I have a program called T90, and I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's a transformation in 90 days. So I look at what the business is doing, what the technology is doing, and then what the community of technologists are doing. And so how do they fit together? It's almost like a chessboard I look at. It's like, how does that all work out so that the next 90 days, it's all formulated together and we're all getting to that checkmate. And then the next 90 days.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. So it's a great formulation together. And what we do is I really take a look at it and say, I've taken people from service desk and they're now a senior leadership within companies. So it's
Wow.
watching their pathways and helping them to walk the board the right way so that when they're leading through the board, they feel really confident about it. And I have some associates that want to stay in a service desk forever, and they're great at it and they're talented, and that's their positioning. And you recognize that by understanding them and listening to them and respecting them and respecting what they're looking for. And then you do it on the other side where we have others that want to move into different roles. And it's really about looking at that every 90 days and making sure that they all match together. And if they don't, help them to go match together. Get more education in, help them to get more support, help them to by just sitting down and having conversation with them. And so I spend a lot of time with those that work for me to make sure that I understand them and that they understand me and that we're in it together. And that sometimes we make hard choices and sometimes we make some of the greatest choices that we could.
I really like how you said that. It really makes leadership feel more realistic rather than more intimidating and a lot more acceptable as well. It seems like you obviously can see like what you did wrong and then you can improve on that as well as a leader.
And that 90-day program is
Yeah.
amazing, Dara, because technology is changing so rapidly. And the training programs cannot be like 6 months or a year
Yeah.
because they have to be learning as the technology is evolving. And I really love how you are putting your heart into the people at the organization that you are serving, identifying their potential before even they can see themselves in their roles.
Yeah, I mean, I think as leaders, that's what you have to do, right? That's part of your responsibility, right? They come first. They are why you're successful. Just because I could be programming alongside of them, I still need everybody else to help me program, right? So like it's a full partnership together, and we believe in each other. We have fun together. We communicate well together, and then when we have bad days, we cry together, right? So like, it's like one of those things, like you're in it together, in it to win it eventually. And that I really believe in that. It is the most fundamental thing to say. There is no I in team. And so it takes all of us to build a business and make sure the business is successful.
Yeah.
That reminds me of one quote. When you take care of your people will take care of your business. That's exactly
Absolutely.
what you have been embodying, and I really respect you for that, Dara. And you also talked about mentorship and how just the example that you shared about the 90-day program is a such classic example of mentorship. So a big part of leadership is also mentorship, right? It's not just leading teams, but it is also about mentoring them and coaching them. And mentorship has clearly been a meaningful thread in your journey, especially through the communities like Builder. So I would love to learn from you how mentorship has shaped your path.
I had a lot of great colleagues, but not necessarily that mentorship. I wish I'd had more. I had a few people that reminded me of what do's and don'ts are, which are also good pathways for that. As I grew further into my career, I think the mentorship actually came from natural communities like Wilda. There was a lot of good intentions together where we started to build each other into the right positions where we could have open and honest conversations, right? Not just about work, but why we were in the business. What did it mean for our families, right? How did we explore ourselves in this position? And the higher up you get, sometimes the lonelier it gets too, right? Because you don't get an opportunity to now go down and tell people, I'm having a bad day that's working for me. They don't want to hear.
Totally not.
Yeah, so sometimes I'm like, oh, it's not the best day, but we're getting there. You know what I mean? But it's not the easiest thing. So it's great to have a community of people, if you don't necessarily have just a mentor, but a community of people that you can go and have those open conversations with and say, look, today wasn't our best day. Like, what have you guys done to pivot that? What have you done to, rechange that pathway for yourselves? And I think that's really important. But for myself in mentorship, like I do believe in building everyone up from the point of, again, from whatever role that you have within my organization or whatever role that you've ever built in from another company or partnership I've had or any of the organizations. It has always been taking the extra time to listen and learn and help give feedback. And those that are really wanting that have reached out, and we've had great conversations and we've talked, especially at the organization. And so it's been a really fun journey over the many, many years of doing it, getting to know people, but also helping them in their pathway for the future. And then helping them with their own personal lives too, right? Because when we think about business, it's not your whole life, right? There is this personal side to it. And so they go hand in hand. And a lot of people are affected by what happens in their personal life as to how it comes out into their business. And so when you're mentoring someone, it's also important to remember that there is a different element behind it, that if you put the two together, generally you get a stronger position with them and a stronger mentorship. So it's been an exciting journey for me to continue, whether it's, I've done opportunities at Columbia University, which has been amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I've helped people get in through some of these different graduate programs and different assessments around that, which has been incredibly fun and
Amazing.
successful, and great to watch all these young students coming up and around. I like to believe I'm mentoring my children, right, in their own sense, although they might debate that, but I like to believe that, right? And then also outside of just technology at the company, I get a good opportunity of mentoring a lot of other female leaders. I've had a lot of people come over and ask questions about that presence, like how do you get into speaking engagements? How do you talk about your business in a different way? And so it's been really fun helping people really open themselves up and come out from their own desk or office and really let their shine come through. Because the talent out there is incredible from every landscape. And so I think we have to give everybody an opportunity to go do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fun
I
times.
totally resonate with that, Dara. You talked about while you were growing up in your career, you didn't have too many opportunities for mentorship. And I think my journey is also in a similar path. But now, when you walk into those rooms where you speak, or when you walk into those boardrooms where you're representing women, it is basically you're bringing that space for women where they can feel they belong in there. Right.
Mhm.
When I see Dara speaking on a stage, she is embodying how women can lead in this technology world. If Dara can do it, I can do it as well.
Sure.
So knowing that we didn't have that experience earlier on, you are providing that landscape for not only women leaders or anyone who is entering in their career paths, but you're also mentoring students. That's where I think the journey starts. And that's exactly the reason why we started this podcast as well, where we want to bring both generations to the same table where we can talk about growth, I mean, the problems, the setbacks, and our triumphs, so that we all feel that we are creating this next generation together.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that the podcast that you've created is incredible. I love this, second generation coming up and really like kind of embracing, right, what it means to be a technologist in the space or be a leader today, or honestly, just whatever someone's doing, just be a part of the community, right, together. And I think technology has not always had a strong voice because, it wasn't always recognized as something that was in the forefront of a business. It was kind of something that was always required in the back end, right? It's an operational job, not necessarily a leading job, but today is more of an opportunity for anyone going into the space than ever before. And I really, really am excited about what's happening for our young generations ahead. I think there's just so much to go do and have fun with. And so super excited to see where your path takes you, wherever that goes. We have brilliance all around us. And I love watching people get up there and shine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for your support.
Yes, thank you. And
Oh, I
also
love it.
how you shared that being in a team, you can all build each other up. You can experience the wins and you can experience the losses together. And I think that's something I'm really excited to do as I grow up is work with the team. I think working by myself seems a little boring, but whenever I get to work with the team or with my friends, it's a lot more fun. And I think I can get more work done too because you get to share like the problems and everything with everyone you're with. So
Yeah, collaboration is really a big key to our success, I think, in this organization and many others I've been in. It's just collaboration. There's something about, sure, as different developers and a lot of technology roles, they become a singular source when you have to go out and do. But when you need to parallel and bring that together, it's like there's that partnership that really like shrinks in and says, gosh, you know what? I have a problem. We can solve it together. It's never a singular source. That's when we say you're going down the rabbit hole and spiraling and you're like, get it back out. You know what I mean? Help them, go talk and collaborate. But It is, and I'm so refreshed to hear that you're super excited about it, because a lot of generations today have struggled with how social media has impacted that. What people are seeing is really how they're influenced, and there's so much independence with so many people on that social space, and not really understanding like how to pick up a phone and have a call, right? And so I think we're starting to spin back over to that side as more things are, people are recognizing that it's okay to have technology on one part of it, but it's great to have interpersonal skills and be able to collaborate and develop. I think that's one of the strongest parts. And I think everybody on my department today has great interpersonal skills and are using them really strongly in the business, which is helping them to grow and helping the business to grow alongside them.
That's amazing to hear.
You have spoken openly about leadership alongside motherhood while raising 2 daughters. How has your definition of success evolved over time as both a leader and a parent?
How I define it, or how my family does, right? I wouldn't be so successful without a great family. I will be honest with you. The strength of them being there for me and understanding, what it takes to be a strong leader in this space, because it is not a 9 to 5 job. So please don't go in as a possibility, right? It's generally 24/7. 365 days per year, but that that from day one of going in and wanting to start that, and you're honest about that. For me, success has been a lot of open communication with my family, and a lot of understanding their importance and when they need me, and them understanding the importance of when the business needs me, or an organization needs me. And I think that is a good balance for us and has worked really well. I think that does lead us to a great, successful relationship together, and it helps me to build the confidence and understanding, and again, respect. I respect them, and I think they respect me back for what we do together. So I have an amazing husband who's been there throughout all of this, and he's really held down the fort and really raised 2 beautiful children for us for the most part, and he's my partner. And he is there for goods and the not so good, right? And so we've all gone through it. And I think that's led me to be successful for the business. When I have to go out and focus, I'm there 100%. So every business knows that they get 150% of me, not even 100%. And they know that is when I'm in it, that is what I'm there to do. And then when I need to separate myself, then that's what I go and do. So I think learning that balance is very hard. I've struggled just like anyone else has, whether you have kids or not. You struggle inside yourself to say, where's your balance at? But I've learned it, I've communicated it, and it's really been a part of what makes us a stronger family together.
Yeah, I really like how you brought in how communication and collaboration is really important within a family as well, because if you don't have it there, then it's also hard within your business as well. So
yeah, and it's all about if you're not talking, that silence can be like kind of,
yeah,
it could be a stopper right there. So
Right.
you got to keep talking, and it can't always just be about actions. Although they did love when I traveled all the time, bringing home gifts every place I went to. Right?
That's the same thing with my sister. Yeah.
It's one of those things, like there is a love for that. And now when I come home, they're like, she's home again. Okay, where's the but that can't be all about it, right? There has to be, that feeling of, oh, wow, like I understand why we're all doing this together. And so I love when I walk in the door. First of all, my furry family. So I've got 2 dogs and a cat. They love me first. So they're at the back door.
Yeah.
No matter what time of the night I'm coming home from my flights every week. They're at the back door. We fly every week. And then the kids are then next if they're awake. And if not, they're like, hey, Mom, the next morning, So it's really fun to be in the right position. I think one of the things I would say is I would probably respect our time together more so. I don't take anything for granted. We are in it in 100% love and dedication together. So just, always remember that about each other, because it's the best feeling.
Yeah. You beautifully talked about communication and also showing up not only in personal life, but also in the work that you do in your business. That communication is the key. Without that, we won't be able to lead it with integrity. So that's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm still learning communication. Let's not kid ourselves, right? Every day there's like, first of all, if I had to keep up with all the emojis and language that's out there, I'd be in trouble, right? So I'm always constantly learning that on top of everything else. But always the key.
And I really like how you beautifully explained about the balance, because sometimes the balance could be different. On a certain day, your personal life needs you more. Certain days, your cats or your pets need you more. Sometimes your work needs you more. But we talked about how you can integrate that. And you talked about being in it, which means the integration between work and family life. And thank you so much for sharing that perspective.
Yeah. Well, just to ask you a flip side question, how do you guys consider it? Like, this is a big partnership that you have together, but your mom obviously has a very prestigious job. She does
Oh, yeah.
so much around, that commitment to it. How do you feel about it? How do you guys really, what binds that together for you?
I think it's our time together because apart from the actual shooting the podcast itself, it comes with a lot of time taken to prepare it. So usually, almost every night since it's my senior year, as my load has gone down a little bit, we've been able to spend a lot of time together as a family, just watching a movie or playing games. And during that time, we try to prep our podcast together. We'll be watching a movie at the same time, working on our podcast, whether my sister likes it or not. She gets quite irritated that we both are doing something without her. But
She's in fact jealous that I get to do this with my daughter.
Well,
yeah, I think
for
that
now
really
until she goes to college, right? And then
exactly.
it'll be the next generation that
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
can share that with. That's fantastic. No, I love that. I think it's so important that, you guys have that same commitment and that feeling
Yeah.
together. And that's a lot of communication. So I really
Absolutely.
believe it's one of the keys of life. It's
Absolutely.
awesome.
And myself, I mean, as I gone down into the entrepreneurship path, now I am doing so many things. So communication is still the key. I have to
Yeah.
communicate with my partner, my husband, to my kids. When I'm traveling, I have to let them know, hey, these are the dates I'll be out. How are we going to manage? There is
Yeah.
so many things that we need to, as a family, manage when one partner is out, because kids have to go to schools and their extracurricular activities.
Sure.
So the communication is really the key. And that's how we hold each other accountable as well.
That's great. I love it. Big hearts out to you. See, big hearts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aw.
Thank you. And I think this ties nicely into something a lot of working families struggle with. And these topics are not talked about very openly. So families rely on support systems, whether it is childcare, extended family help, or simply asking for help from someone else, right? So what are your thoughts on letting go of guilt and accepting support instead of trying to do everything by yourself?
Yes, that's a hard one for me because I am a very A type personality, I've been told. And so I tend to take on everything and do everything. And I say I stay pretty well organized, but at times we all need a little bit of help, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's from your partner or your kids or a coworker. And I think it's that recognition of understanding that and just raising your hand and saying, it's time. I need some help here. And so I've done that quite a bit, right? So for business, I do it all the time. I always am open and honest with my teams when they're, looking at that little spiral down because they're trying to stay very independent and take it all on themselves. And I'm like, just stop. It's okay. Getting help isn't a weakness. It's a
Yeah.
positive for all of us.
Mhm.
It means that we've come to a point now where others can help us merge, learn, and grow. And so that works really well there. And I think in our personal lives, we do that very frequently. I always get to a point once in a while where I'm like, it's been really hard. I haven't gotten to the paperwork or whatever it might be.
Mhm.
And I just raise my hand and say, look, guys, I need all of you to help me. What are we going to do together? How are we going to get through this together? And so I think it really does come out to just recognizing that, raising your hand and saying, it's okay. Like at the end, I'm better off for it, right? Otherwise, I'm having sleepless nights. I'm probably still not getting to it, right? And it's always the harder things that we push aside until they blow up. And it's really recognizing that you don't have to do that and move them up in front of you. So I keep running lists. I don't know about what you guys do, but I keep running lists of things that I have to do all day long. And it's hundreds and hundreds of things.
Yeah.
And if I can check off 5 of them a day, I'm like, oh, win, right?
Yeah.
And if I can get 10 of them in a day, I'm like, what was I Superwoman that day? What happened, right? So, and when you can't get to that other 5 that you need to get to, it's raising your hand and saying, how can you guys help me chip in? We've got these other things that have to happen. And when you do that, it's again, teamwork, right? It's communication, teamwork, respect for each other. It's building on that and really coming out with a success, a win in the end.
Right. Yeah. And I like how you said about raising your hand, asking help, right? When we leaders, when we do that, we are also normalizing the feeling that asking for help is bad, right?
Yeah.
When we do that, when we embody, our teams also do that. And at family too. When I asked my partner, hey, today for podcast, we needed help with my little one. So he's taking care of the little one while we do the recording. So same thing, when we ask help, others also feel asking help in return.
Yeah, I love that. I think that I completely agree with that. I think you used to say that A was a sign of weakness. I don't think it's a sign of weakness at all. I think it's a sign of strength to be able to recognize
Yeah.
that and be able to do something about it. And I think if everybody did that more, there would be a lot more happiness in the world, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I believe that stress comes with, or not being confident comes with someone who doesn't recognize that they need support and help.
Mm.
They believe that we as communities do that together really well, and we build others to do that so much. So it's great that you get that lead, you get that partnership in your own home and your own business. Fantastic.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that we are talking about this topic because this doesn't get talked very often. And I'm pretty sure our listeners are going to benefit out of our conversation today
Yeah.
because that's something, it can start small and you can expand into your life eventually.
Yeah, I love that you're asking some of these other landscape questions because I think it is so important for people to hear more about not only the journeys it takes, but what it really takes from your
Mhm.
family, from your, business, what it takes to be that full end to end. It's not just one side of things. It's all of it together. And so
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's not one dimensional leadership, right? It
Not.
has got multiple
Yeah.
perspectives. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, I want to end our conversation off with a question about the future. When you think about the future, not just for technology and leadership, but for your daughters and the future generation, what kind of world are you hoping to help shape?
Love this. So I really believe in a future where people can be themselves, can go after their dreams and believe in themselves while they're doing that, who can find happiness through all of that. Because happiness is so important. If I wasn't happy every day, I'd really be challenged to be in the position that I'm in,
Yeah.
because it comes with a lot of great responsibility, which sometimes comes with a lot of risk and unsurety of like what that will land in. And I think you need to be very confident to stand in that and feel happy about it, right? Even on the bad days. So I really believe in leaving a great future for others to step into, to feel confident, whether you're a female leader or a male leader wanting to get in the space of technology, that you can write your own path. You can start off in anthropology and
Right.
archaeology, and you can go through all these different business things, and then you can figure out like, does this really work for me? And you can work in a mailroom, and still be a CTO at the end of the day, right?
Right,
So
yeah, exactly.
so like I think just encouraging people to step into something and try it, and then build their confidence to keep moving into what they really ultimately become happy and find. I still don't know when I'm growing up. I think he and I talk about this all the time. Like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Right. And I think there's still this whole like what's next in my life. And I love though living in the moments that I do, and continuing to carve paths for new people coming to work for me, or those that we get to mentor, those that are coming out of like different universities and guidance. And I think there's just this never ending pathway, and just giving them those opportunities to go do that. So it's confidence, it's giving them the great landscape of what's ahead, and making sure that while they're doing it, that they stay happy, because that's really all that matters.
I really like how you said that we should be happy with what we're doing today. But I also think that you should be thinking about your future and what makes you happy in the future as well, especially because right now I'm in a stage of my life where I have to choose what college I want to go to. So right now
Mm.
I'm thinking which university or which college will give me the right opportunities, which will make me happy. So I think that, yeah, not only is it making yourself happy today, but making yourself happy in the future as well is a big thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
My daughter's going through the same thing right now, right?
Yeah,
So she's getting all those acceptance letters coming in, and
exactly.
she's playing sports, so she's getting all these like recruiters and all this stuff
Yeah,
That's
happening.
awesome.
so cool.
Very, very difficult for you guys to
Oh,
make the
yeah.
right choice, right? Because it's like the next set of your life. Because when you're there, it's not only being there as a whole new community, but then it's also doing your internships and where do I
Exactly.
want to go afterwards, right? If I go away somewhere, do I want to stay there afterwards, or does it mean I come back? And what does that all look like? And so many choices. But being happy through all of that is the most important part, because
I
there is a lot
agree.
of stress, right? And so you've got to find somewhere you can always go redefine yourself. I always say this, like, if this wasn't my business for tomorrow, I'd go figure out what was, and I'd work 3 jobs, but as long as I was happy at all 3, I'd be okay with that, right? So it's like making sure that you're happy through it all, because it really makes the biggest difference for you in your life. But I know you'll do the best thing. You're going to be excellent at whatever you go to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited for you. Yay!
Yeah, Bear is excited.
Very
as well.
Bear University, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, for me, there are so many takeaways throughout our conversation, Dara. You have dropped in so many nuggets from clarity to being intentional and having that human element while you lead your teams. You talked about confidence, being able to listen, learn, and that education, being aware of what's working, what's not working, and there are so many takeaways that I can take, and I'm pretty sure our listeners will enjoy our conversation today. Thank you so much for this conversation. Your honesty, clarity, and thoughtfulness really stayed with us.
I learned so much from hearing how you think about leadership, confidence, the future, and just how to stay happy with yourself and what you're doing. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been magical for both of us. You know, as we sit here, it's great to have just a real conversation, because it is a real life that we all live. And I would just say to everyone, just go out and be you, and just be happy with you, and love and respect yourself as others do. Thank you so much.
That's such a great advice. Thank you so much, Dara. To our listeners, thank you for joining us today and spending time with us. If this conversation resonated with you, we would love for you to share it with someone who might need it.
This is Ready to Grow, stories of women shaping the future of STEM. We will see you next time.
Thanks for growing with us on Ready to Grow.
Follow, share, and join us for the next conversation.